Dobberstein. Lorna Dobberstein. Her speech is titled RTFI. RTFI, Lorna Dobberstein.
RTFI. Read the flipping instructions. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, esteemed judges, instructions are a lot like deodorant. The people who need them most never use them. I happen to be a shining example of that. Years ago, I was preparing a spaghetti dinner for my first ever house guests. Now, I had made spaghetti sauce numerous times with my mother using her recipe. However, on this particular occasion, there was no mother and no recipe. And something went wrong. I checked on my sauce, and it was about the consistency of a vegetable soup broth with some vegetables and meat in it. I panicked. And then, an epiphany. I remembered at Christmas watching my mother making gravy. And she'd use cornstarch to thicken up the gravy. Of course, I'll use some cornstarch to thicken up my spaghetti sauce. Now, and common sense for me kicked in when I said, okay, if it takes, a little bit to thicken up a little boat of gravy, it's going to take quite a bit to thicken up a big pot of spaghetti sauce. Well, after I proceeded to use an entire box of cornstarch, I was pretty excited because the sauce was starting to thicken up, and it actually tastes good. We sat down to eat dinner, and the first person to reach out and grab some sauce was struggling a little bit with the ladle, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I just kind of leaned in, put a little elbow grease behind it, and I thought, what on earth? And then, this huge gelatinous blob of spaghetti sauce plops out onto the center of the table. The pizza man arrived about 45 minutes later. I could have avoided all of that angst had I just stopped and read the flippin' instructions on the side of the cornstarch box. You might think somebody would learn from mistakes like that. Not so much. Years later, I thought I would try my hand at vegetable gardening. Now, I was really being smart this time, because I thought I'll try growing one vegetable, and if it goes well, then I'll add a second one in next year, and so on and so forth. Off to the store I went and bought 12 zucchini plants. Did you know that one zucchini plant grows more than one zucchini? I was a little shocked when I went out to the garden and found I have about 4,000 zucchinis growing there. These zucchinis were pretty close to being ready to be picked, and only problem was we were going out of town on a vacation. I thought, okay, 4,000 zucchinis, I'm going to wait till I get back and have the time to deal with these. We went out of town for 10 days. I came back, and I am quite certain that some aliens came down and fed outer space steroids to these zucchinis, because they now compared in size to watermelons and had completely taken over the entire end of my home. I had enough zucchinis to make zucchini bread for the entire nation and have plenty left over. Here's the ironic thing there. Not only did I not read the flipping instructions, but I had 12 sets of instructions because there was one on each little tag that came in each little planter that I got to ignore. Learn from it? No. You would really think at this point in my life as a grown woman, I'd be matured past that a little bit. It wasn't very long ago that I had a real brainiac moment and thought, I'm going to wax my own eyebrows. Save money, do them the way I want. For those of you who may not know how you wax eyebrows, you have a warm container of wax. You use a popsicle stick and you take the wax out and you smear it on the hairs on your brow that you'd like to remove. Then you take a piece of muslin material and place over top of the wax. You rub it in really good to make sure that it's stuck on. Then you hold your breath for dear life and you pull the side of your eye back and you rip that muslin off. I did that and I thought, well, that didn't hurt so much. Maybe it's not so bad when you do it yourself. Till I looked down at the muslin and there was nothing there. I thought, well, what the heck happened? And I looked in the mirror and the wax is still on my brow. I thought, okay, well, something went wrong. So I tried it again. And again. And again and again. By this time, it looked like I had an entire package of chewed up bubblegum wadded on my eyelid. And I thought this might be a good time to look at instructions. As soon as I went to open them up, I saw a diagram and I knew exactly what I had done wrong. I needed to be pulling against the growth of the hair and not with it. So back to the wax I went, put some new wax on, put the muslin on, rubbed it real hard, pulled that skin back and oh my gosh, I looked down at the muslin and it looked like it had grown a mustache. Then I looked in the mirror to see my 3 little hairs that were left on my eyebrow and the little droplets of blood that were beaded up. In the meantime, my daughter had come running down to see if I was dead and was now in hysterics at the doorway. I started to get a little annoyed and said, you know, this really hurts. It's not funny. She said, oh no, Mom, you don't get it. She said, now you got to do the other one to match. Fine moment in my life. All of that could have been avoided if at the very beginning I had read the flipping instructions. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, but I didn't come with a manual. And common sense should probably tell you that if I did, I probably wouldn't read the flipping instructions anyway.